Okay, good morning. Just for the record, can you state your name and your position at BECQ, sir?
My name is Floyd Masga. I'm the BECQ administrator.
Can you talk about those two requests from companies who want to dump pharma waste and then construction debris from RMI and the pharma waste from Guam?
Yeah, happy to do so. As you all know, there was two requests that came in. One was from LMS Guam, which involved the disposal of pharmaceutical waste from the Naval Hospital Guam. And they were seeking guidance with regard to what they can do and cannot do. The request went out to, from what we found out, was it was sent to the Department of Public Works, BECQ, and CHCC. Then the second request was the construction waste from the Department of War with regard to the Kwajalein Island. So one of the things, of course, was that in all aspects, this is a CNMI island-wide policy. So our tactic was to make sure, of course, our governor is informed of this, and also to for his awareness and guidance. So one of the things is that working with the governor's office, we provided our response to both companies. With regard to the pharmaceutical waste, we denied that. One reason why we did that, of course, is we don't have the facility to accommodate those types of waste. And keeping in mind too that the governor is very aware and has taken this issue very seriously because of environmental and as well as the CNMIs with regard to public health. So these are the concerns that were brought up to our side at the BECQ. So one of the things, of course, was that to analyze, regulate, and make sure that we have the regulations in place, to handle such things. But, we again did not support the pharmaceutical waste. And in turn, too, the request from HYC Corporation was more centered with regard to guidance. So we did provide the HYC Corporation guidance with regard to what was allowed, and as well as what certifications they need, and also to be aware that there are some federal regulations, i.e. EPA, as well as the Department of War, with regard to transportation or export, even international waters with regard to these kind of wastes. But most importantly is that we need to know what is in the materials that they are proposing to bring over. We are concerned about our environment. We're concerned about the landfill as well, and the long-term consequences. For example, if such waste is not managed properly, but also what is in that waste. These are the kind of things that the company has indicated that they've gotten information that it's not hazardous. However, we need also the Department of War to provide that information, not just the company. We need these analysis to be certified. So that was our response to them, our guidance.
Mm-hmm. And then can you talk about the bill that was filed by Representative J.P. Saplan with regards to this, not trend, but requests from foreign companies to dump trash or whatever in our landfill? What's your response to that?
As I mentioned earlier with regard to CNMI policy, our job here at BECQ, of course, is to provide guidance and make sure that the administration is well aware with regard to the federal regulation, EPA, for example, the U.S. Environmental Protection Act, as well as what is required from the Department of Waste. So when we saw or read the proposed bill, first we noticed that the bill was proposing to provide regulations and so forth, but it also leads to allowing it. However, our analysis of that bill was also to require or provide guidance to the legislators as well, which we can work hand in hand with regard to what needs to be done. However, we need to be very mindful of our environment and the consequences of such things. So one of the things is that there are some, as I mentioned earlier again, EPA regulations that need to be looked at, what's required with regard to testing, lab results and so forth, and what the Department of War regulations are as well. This is something that's not taken lightly. It needs to be addressed appropriately, and at times there are laws in place to protect Guam or the Marianas or any other territorial region from accepting these kind of things. So we have actually provided a comment to the legislature with regard to this, and again, I do thank the governor's office for providing us the support to respond to these things as well. And we are always happy to meet with the legislative members to explain our justification why these things should or should not happen. Then again, our job is to regulate, and that's no doubt. We need to have proper regulations, safety measures that need to be addressed before any acceptance of any waste outside the Marianas.
So just to make sure, LMS, the request was denied.
Yes, the pharmaceutical waste is denied on the premise that we do not have the facilities to do so, to handle or accept.
The incineration facilities.
Correct,
Mm-hmm.
correct. And that's some things that some folks don't understand. There's only one incinerator here, which is regulated by EPA as well as at the Saipan International Airport, and that's only for contraband. The other one is an autoclave, which is from CHCC, which is more of sanitation. So that's one of the primary reason why we said, no, you can't do that.
In the future, if we acquire an incinerator for such purposes, then we can review this request.
Yes, then of course we would have to review, one, what type of incinerator that they're bringing in, and what's allowable with regard to again, the waste to be brought in. One of the things is that we need to make sure, of course, that if a proposal is even being thought of, is that we need to make sure utmost the people, the public health is considered, as well as the environment. And there are long-term ramifications with regard to these kind of waste. And that's everywhere, actually, from the landfill itself, from here to Tinian to Rhoda, and even our neighboring brothers and sisters on Guam. We have to take every aspect into consideration.
And they say our landfill in Marby is fast filling up. And also we have finite resources to handle this.
That's something that the Department of Public Works, the Secretary would most likely speak of. Again, the size of the landfill and what, the longevity of it. So the DPW would be the people that would talk more about that.
With HYC Corp's request, they were just looking for guidance. And you said it depends on what material, what kind of stuff they're bringing in. So this wasn't itemized enough. They said 600 tons of crushed concrete, backfill, 500 tons of metal such as rebars and railings, 100 tons of assorted debris including carpets and tiles, 40 tons of furniture, 60 tons of wood from partitions and cabinetry, and 300 tons of conduits and wiring. So you need more.
Yes, we do. We need data, we need sampling. We're talking about what is inside that material. We can't just accept anything just because it's listed down that way. We need to have it tested. And that's where it falls on the burden of the contractor as well as the Department of War to provide that information. There's intricate roles here that everybody plays, and EPA as well needs to find out to even consider or approve any importation or export.
So HYC Corp's guidance, that's just the first step. What if they provide all of your requirements, then EPA analyzes?
That's correct.
EPA has to greenlight it, or BECQ has to greenlight it, or
We
what's the
both
next
we
step?
both have to do it,
Mhm.
and ultimately EPA has to give their side as well of approval or disapproval. We are part of the United States of America, so we need to make sure that we're doing our just vigilance with regard to what needs to be done here.
Okay, so it doesn't need to go to the public or the legislature?
That's part of this. Now that it's in a proposed bill, there will be public comments that will be held by the legislature for the committee to hear the public side. And I am aware that there's a lot of talk out there in the community. However, let us do our job. Let the administration, do their job as well with regard to what needs to be done. We are here at BECQ to make sure that the environment is protected, as well as, the ultimate goal is public health as well. We need to all work together on this and prevent anything that could be harming our people, now and in the future.
Okay, thank you, Administrator Masga. Anything else you want to add, especially regarding this topic?
I just want to end with regard to that. I understand that people have concerns, but I also would like to express that the administration takes this issue very seriously. This is not something that's just overnight, of course. This was a request and a proposal, and now it's with regard to the guidance that needs to be provided, and that's what we're doing. Again, ultimately, our public health and our environment is quite important for everybody in the Marianas.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.